The house was quiet, the kind of quiet that settles only after midnight, when even the wind outside seems to tiptoe past the windows. And I was alone in my room, wrapped in the silk of my nightgown, feeling the warmth of the blanket clinging to my skin, but also the coldness of thoughts I could not shake off. I heard his footsteps before I saw him, soft, steady, approaching not in haste, but with a calm that sent a strange shiver down my spine. The door creaked open, just enough for light to spill in from the hallway, golden dim and haunting, and there he stood, my stepfather, in nothing but his sleep pants, his chest, bare eyes shadowed, yet glinting with something I could not name. He said nothing at first, just looked at me, and in that silence, I forgot how to breathe. I forgot how wrong it was to feel what I felt, to wonder what if, to imagine his hands, not as a father's, but as a man's. His gaze traveled slowly, not lingering, but not fleeing either, and I shifted beneath the sheets, trying to act unaware, though every nerve in my body sparked with awareness. He stepped inside, closed the door behind him, and with that sound, my world shifted. The line we were never meant to cross was suddenly a thread so thin it barely held. He sat on the edge of the bed, and I could smell the faint scent of his skin soap, and something deeper, something masculine and heavy. His voice, when it came, was low, softer than I ever heard it before. He asked if I was okay, said he heard me moving restlessly, that he couldn't sleep either, that sometimes the night was too loud inside our heads, and I nodded, unable to find words, because all my thoughts were locked in the space between us, in the way his fingers brushed my ankle beneath the blanket, in the way my breath caught and refused to return to normal. His hand paused, lingered, then moved again, slowly upward, tracing the shape of my calf, and I should have pulled away, should have stopped him, should have screamed. But instead, I lifted the blanket, just a little offering an invitation. I didn't speak yet. Somehow he understood, and when he leaned down, his lips brushed my shoulder first, soft, then firmer, and when his tongue followed, my whole body trembled. His hand found my waist, my hips, and the touch burned, but it wasn't pain. It was fire waking everything I had buried. His mouth traveled with purpose, with reverence, with hunger, and I arched into him, surrendering the last pieces of my doubt. As he slid beneath the blanket beside me, the sheets now tangled between us, as he pulled me close, his hand slipping beneath the silk and finding skin that had never been touched like this. And when his fingers moved lower, and his breath found my ear, and his body pressed into mine, there was no longer past or future, only this moment, this heat, this forbidden need that refused to be denied. The sun crept in slow, as if uncertain whether it was welcome, and I woke before the light fully claimed the room, still wrapped in the haze of what had happened the night before. His arm draped over me, heavy, warm, possessive, and my body still ached. In the most delicious ways, memories playing back with every pulse between my thighs, every trace of his touch still lingering on my skin. I turned to look at him, at the man who had once been just a name in a marriage license, now a secret carved into my soul, and he was already watching me, eyes dark with remembrance. He reached for me again, not with hesitation, but with certainty, as if now that the seal was broken, he would never pretend again. He pulled me close, kissed me with the kind of kiss that claimed and promised and consumed, and I melted into it, into him, into everything we had done, into everything we still craved. I whispered his name, a name I had once called with innocent affection, now laced with desire, and he responded with a growl, with a hand that found my thigh and gripped it, and lips that traveled downward until I was gasping once more. The sheets had long since lost their shape. The room smelled of us thick with passion and whispered sins, and still it wasn't enough. He made love to me, slow and deep, and with a kind of reverence that blurred every line of guilt and made it all feel like fate. His body on mine, his rhythm inside me, his voice, calling me beautiful, perfect his now. And when I came undone again, shaking beneath him, I knew nothing would ever erase this. I would always belong to that night, to that touch, to him. Afterward, we lay tangled, his fingers stroking circles on my stomach, his lips occasionally brushing my shoulder. And we didn't speak, not because we didn't have words, but because none were needed. His presence said everything, his breath against my skin, a vow, his hand still on me, a promise. And when he finally rose, kissed me one last time and left the room, I knew this wasn't the end. It was only the beginning of a story that should never have started. But once it did, there was no stopping it, no turning back, only the fire of one night that changed everything.